Hello and welcome back to Spirit Hunter's Infinite Horde. Alright, so I love this game. I've been playing it since pretty much a little bit after it came out, and I am a big fan, as I say, of all these survivor genre games, so I've played quite a lot of them. Now, here's the thing, Spirit Hunter's had a whole bunch of issues, very minor issues, some of them a little bit less minor, but generally, the developers have done a fantastic job. There's only 3 people working on this game, and 2 of them were relatively sick quite recently, so obviously development was a bit slower. But they've just come out with their first really big update. They have added a new character, they have added a new weapon in the form of Ice Ring, and they have also revamped every single thing in the game. And I'm talking about progression system outside of the game, progression system when you're actually starting a run, as well as the various upgrades and values and damage that you're going to be taking, damage that you're going to be dealing. They've also changed the bosses, they've added additional maps. They've basically done a huge amount to make the game just that much more enjoyable. And I was enjoying it a huge amount beforehand. I've played this for, according to Steam, actually okay, yeah, quite a long time. But we're going to be playing as HUGO here. As you can see, his special ability is to leave a decoy and gain invisibility and speed upon taking damage. He only has 8 HP. This is a really interesting system because all the rest have a flat value of some kind. So for example, Vivian, who is my favorite character by the way, she has 195 HP. Whereas HUGO just has 8. Now you'll see how that works. Obviously it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit easier to show you. So let's go in right here. Alright, so there are 3 zones. These are not just these are not the maps, but these are 3 zones that you can then pick your map from, and you also have different challenge levels as well. This update also included hardcore mode. I have no idea what hardcore mode is. I haven't actually explored that yet, because I've just been attempting to unlock the next map, because I want to unlock the next challenge level on CEMETARY. So I'm actually going to show you CEMETARY right now, because they have also added a wide variety of different abilities to the opponents. So for example, enemies before, on the original version, they wouldn't really do too much to you. They would just kind of run into you and try to deal damage. Nowadays, they cast abilities. They cast all kinds of things that you're going to have to avoid, and yeah, it's pretty dangerous. So yeah, for example, on the desert here, as a way to demonstrate the different things that you're going to be getting, the different map selections at least, you're going to be getting the Desert Ruins, which is where you first start. Then you're going to be playing on the Spine Dunes when you have the ability to unlock that on the Divinity Web. Then you also have the Hinterlands and Viper Village. Viper Village is one of the new maps, and I've already unlocked the next challenge level on that. And then you have Dark Moon Grove, which is the regular version of Dark Forest, or the default map of that. And then you also have CEMETARY, as I've said. So we're going to be playing on CEMETARY today, and after we unlock the new map, I'm actually thinking we might do another run after that, just to see what's actually going on here. Now I've been playing, as I say, quite a lot of this, and I kind of have a pretty good idea as to how to build my character nowadays, because when I first played the game, I was not really knowing what to do. You know, I was kind of thinking, hey, you know what do I spec into here? What's the best, what's the best way to go about things? And for me personally, I have found that it's Orbital Fire. At least I think Orbital Fire is really powerful. Orbital Fire, Bone Shot, Grand Hex or Spears, and Ice Ring. The new Ice Ring weapon is actually pretty good in my opinion. It doesn't do a massive amount of damage, but it's really great for control. I'm going to be taking Grand Hex this time. Usually I don't take Grand Hex, usually I'm taking Spears, so that's a little bit of a change here. And you can see here that I am actually being cornered by the various tombstones that are coming up from the ground right now. So I've got to be a little bit careful about that. So we're just going to try and not get hit. And there's Bone Shot. Oh, thank you. Whew, I was a bit worried that we would not get Bone Shot. That would have been really bad, because Bone Shot is my boss killing My boss killing ability. Oh, look at that. Wow, that was really, really soon. Okay, that's actually really surprising that we already came across a shop. They've actually made it a lot more consistent as well. The developers have been working on making it more available, the shop that is, making it a little bit easier for you to find these things. And my decoy at the moment is currently trying to just get the enemies away from me. Oh yeah, I am actually taking a lot of damage at the moment. This is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. But thankfully, as you can no doubt tell right there, I just picked up a heart. Now, usually what a heart is going to do, it's going to provide you with, I think, like, what, I don't know, 10, 15% of your max HP. But with HUGO, because he only has 8 HP, technically, he gets 1 HP back, which in my opinion is actually pretty strong. I could be wrong about this, of course, could definitely be wrong about this, but I actually quite like that system because it does tend to make things a little bit simpler for you. You kind of just, you know what to watch out for. You're a little bit less thinking, oh yeah, it's a bit more risk reward kind of thing, I suppose. Not sure if I could really call it that, to be honest, but yeah, whatever the case, I'm very much enjoying the new character. I haven't really played as him that much though, do bear that in mind, because generally I'm not sure. I like Vivian a huge amount because she has overwhelming amounts of magnetism, and I'm talking about drawing experience to you. I absolutely love that. I think her ability to do that is so incredibly important. It really is super, super important. Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna get bone shot cooldown right here. Once my bone shot is on a low enough cooldown, I'm gonna be firing like a machine gun. It's gonna be so incredibly nice. We're gonna actually start increasing the cooldown, or shall we say reducing our cooldown on Grand Hex as well. Gonna try and get over here a little bit because I'd like to try and see if I can get some hearts. Now, I think the main reason why HUGO might be really, really difficult to play with is, I mean, obviously his HP, but it's probably because of the fact that we don't have a reliable way of gaining HP back. It's very unpredictable. That's the only thing I can really think of to kind of think to myself, hey, you know what? He's maybe too much trouble to play with, really. He might be too much trouble to play with just purely for the fact that he doesn't have a reliable way of gaining health back. If I had a way to, I don't know, like every 10 casts of some kind of ability or something like that, that I would gain some health back from that, then I would be fine. I would be fine with it. I'd be fine with it because then we would be able to gain our health back and everything, and it'd be a lot easier. But obviously that's, I mean, look at this. I'm now almost at full HP, and that's pretty good. So I guess it is just a case of exploring, trying to find these chests and everything. So it seems like it doesn't even really need anything like that. But bear in mind that HUGO's ability is mainly to do with gold. Obviously he's a genie, so he's of course going to be gaining gold whenever things are used. For example, Ice Ring, as I took that as my base weapon, he's going to be gaining, I think it is 7 gold every single time Ice Ring is cast. Which is actually pretty incredible if you think about it. How many times Ice Ring is going to get cast is, well, it's pretty amazing the amount of times, right? So, yeah, it's kind of interesting actually to think about that, because if you think about how long it takes us to complete a level, it's just absolutely amazing. Also, we're going to be getting this, which is fantastic. I love this particular pet. The magnet slime is just amazing. It's so good. Scoop is also good. I generally don't know. I don't really have an opinion on the rest. I do like the one that provides you with more damage over time damage though, and the one that gives you more critical, because the one that gives you more critical is just, I mean, that's just fantastic, basically nowadays with the revamp of the Divinity web, being able to critically hit more often is so nice, because you literally gain the ability later on in the Divinity web. As I say, I've unlocked pretty much every single thing in it, with the exception of, I think, a couple that still require some kills. I still need to kill some things, and they've also revamped the they've revamped the amount of kills that you need to be able to unlock these things as well. So it's just new enemies that I haven't taken on yet in battles. So that's obviously a thing. There you go. I'm now full HP though. That's fantastic. Look at that. That's really, really cool. But yeah, so as I say, I have unlocked a lot of the various nodes in the Divinity web, and these nodes will give you really good bonuses. Super good bonuses. And they've also made the trading system for resources much better as well, because I don't know whether you saw, maybe you didn't see my previous video on Spirit Hunters, but it was basically us unlocking the resource trading system where you trade crystals and shards for what are they called? I don't even know what they're called right now, but they're like the harder to gain resource, basically the one that you gain from the increased challenge mode. Basically that's the thing that you're going to be trading for most of the time. And I thought to myself, wow, this is super expensive. It was 1,000 shards for every one of these premium. I mean, it's not premium because there are no microtransactions in the game, let me just say that. But this rarer resource is pretty difficult to come by. It's not an easy thing to get, because of course it's not. You know, it has a lot of the very powerful upgrades behind this. So you're going to need to get this resource to be able to power up your characters. And it's not that difficult to get now. As soon as this new resource trading system came in, it's so nice and easy. It is a lot more streamlined, the progression for it, and I am behind these developers like no one's business. They have really outdone themselves, because here's the thing, the final boss, you know how the final boss, if you've seen the previous video or if you've played the game yourself, the final boss of every single level would have a cage around it, and it still has the cage in this version, but it no longer shrinks. The cage no longer shrinks around you, and as a result you can take your time. You can take as long as you want to fight the boss. And in my opinion, that's amazing. That's a great change, and I said that before anyway, so you know, you already know that if you saw that video. But yeah, that really makes a huge difference overall to pretty much every single facet of the game itself, because obviously if you are a person that is building your character in such a way that it just doesn't have massive amounts of front load damage, you can take as long as you want to now defeat the enemy boss, which is great. So I like that. Otherwise, apart from that, as I say, I feel like HUGO's a really cool character to play with. He does have, at first glance, you think to yourself, whoa, this ability, yeah, that's amazing, you know, that's really strong, right? But then you think, well, actually, you can get really unlucky with him. You could get unlucky with him, because imagine, you don't get any health pickups. Let's say you don't get any health pickups. Well, then you're going to be in a bit of a spot of bother, aren't you? Because then you're not going to be able to get your health back. But apart from that, I think it's really nice that he has his own way of generating gold, because sometimes, and I've been there, you know, in my various runs that I've done, because as I say, this is a game that I generally tend to play in just a spare moment. You know, if I think to myself, oh, you know, I've got about 20 minutes spare right here, I'm going to just pick this up and play for 15 minutes, because obviously that's how long a run takes if I'm actually successful. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, you know? So generally, I feel like they've done a great job. They really have. I don't really know what more to say about it, but yeah, whatever the case, we are doing pretty well here right now. Orbital Fire is obviously the thing that I'm mostly concentrating on. Pre-patch, pre-update, Orbital Fire was my go-to build. It was absolutely amazing. I would build it for dot damage cooldown. So, you know, for example, dot damage is now being increased by this upgrade right here. That didn't used to be the case. It used to be that you could reduce the tick rate for the dot. So, for example, it would start at every 1.4 seconds, the enemy would take X amount of damage. But now they've changed it so that that particular talent or upgrade increases the dot damage. Personally, I don't think it actually needs any increases, so I never usually take this because it's only +1. I don't think it's that useful in comparison to things like reducing the cooldown of Grand Hex or speed increase for Orbital Fire. So yeah, but usually pre-patch I would be taking the Orbital Fire thing, because that, if you took the maximum upgrade for that, you would literally be able to have a dot. Once you hit an opponent, you would have a dot that would tick so insanely fast that while it was doing, you know, 1, 2, or 7 damage, if you actually have the pet, you know, if you have the pet that increases damage over time with that build, it's pretty much unstoppable. It's really, really powerful, but obviously that's pre-patched, so there's no point in me talking about it. But anyway, the point is, that's the reason why I really love taking orbital fire. So for example, there it is. Look, there's the damage over time increase. Okay, well, what we're going to do is, I think I have 2 more spaces for pets, right? I think I have 2 more spaces. So what we're going to do, this is actually unheard of, me getting 6 pets in a shop. That's pretty crazy. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take the hearty one. This is absolutely a fantastic change as well. They've revamped the pets too. So they've made it so that pets are more consistent. So, for example, Hearty used to have a 25% chance to create a heart every 10 seconds. For me, I always took this pet. But they've actually made it so that it has a 100% chance to give you a heart, but only every 30 seconds. So in my opinion, this is a fantastic change. I like it, and we're going to be increasing our damage over time as well, because obviously, as I say, I am an orbital fire build. I absolutely love playing with this, and maybe we'll try to increase our damage over time. Oh, there's actually another, what? There's another shop? Okay, that's actually really funny. All right, I'm surprised I haven't come across any pet cages actually yet, because pet cages are usually all over the place, but maybe the new map, because this is the cemetery, as I say, I haven't really played on this before, so it's a bit unknown to me, so to speak. But yeah, whatever the case, we're just going to continue increasing our critical chance. I'm actually thinking, can I? No, I cannot get another pet, as you can see right here. Now, generally, I wouldn't have taken CC. And I would have instead waited for the critical chance. But I thought to myself, well, if I don't get lucky and I don't find the critical chance pet, then there's no real point in me, you know, waiting for that. You know, it's just a waste of time then in that case. So we're going to go in here once again, and we're going to see what we can get. Yeah, obviously no pets, unfortunately, but I can buy some hearts. So I'm just going to buy 5 hearts, and then there's a bunch of other stuff here as well, but I don't really need that, as I've said. So yeah, otherwise, here we go. Let's try and see if I can find some pet cages, because finding some pet cages would be very, very nice for me right now. I would love to be able to upgrade my pets, because you can actually upgrade your pets as well. If you can find pet cages once you have maxed out your pets, then you do have the opportunity to do that. You don't have to max out your pets' capacity before actually attempting to find them, but generally it provides you with guaranteed useful upgrades then. That's what I found, at least, and that's generally what I try to go for. So let's actually have a look here. Got this chest here. Well, why is this chest here? This is kind of weird. Usually these are like boss chests or something like that, and I'm not entirely sure why there's a boss chest right here, but okay. Usually when you defeat a mini boss, that's one of the chests that drop. So maybe there was a mini boss over here that got killed or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how it died, but there you go. Anyway, let's move on here. And maybe we can find, I mean, even finding another shop at this point is basically pointless in my opinion. I don't think it's actually going to make that much difference. And how much damage am I actually dealing over time now? Seems like I still deal 22 damage or something like that, so it's probably not even that useful. I'm just going to continue increasing Bone Shot. Bone Shot, as I say, is going to be my primary method of killing the enemy boss at the end. The big boss. Usually the big bosses nowadays, with the damage modifiers changed, they have about, from what I've seen so far, one of them had, I think, 6,000 HP, and the next one had 10,000 HP. So take from that what you will. In my opinion, that's a pretty reasonable thing to tune them to, because before, obviously, it was very difficult to eliminate the boss on the intermediate challenge mode with the amount of HP they had. But if you get lucky with, you know, your build, and you actually have a good build and you survive up until that point, I was actually able to start completing those intermediate challenges. And I would never have expected that, you know, I would never have expected that beforehand. I was having big problems at some point, but then I started to actually gain these resources. I started to gain these additional resources, you know, the ones I'm talking about, the rarer resources, like these little fire tokens or whatever they're called. I really don't know what they're called specifically, so I'm sorry about that, but whatever the case, you can get those, and then once you start getting those and unlocking various other things in the Divinity web, I'll show you my Divinity web after this so that you can hopefully see what I'm talking about. But once you've unlocked all of that, it's so much easier to actually get to those points. And I'm thinking I might actually start a game on hardcore mode and actually see what's going on with hardcore mode, because it seems pretty fun. I don't know. I mean, I can assume that it's probably one life, right? You probably have one life, so if you lose in a level, you're dead. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I don't know how that would work in a roguelike, you know, because obviously it's technically a roguelike, and if you die in the game, then obviously you go back and you get kicked out onto the Divinity web, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, then I'll start another run. But what if you're in hardcore mode? What actually happens then? I don't know. But do you get increased rewards? Maybe you get increased rewards for completing the whole thing, you know, because if you complete the whole thing, maybe they're going to give you enhanced progression or something like that. That might be kind of fun, because then you're going to obviously have hardcore mode on. If you die once, you're dead, you know, you're gone, and your save files deleted or something like that. I really have no idea. I don't know, as I say, so I'm just speculating at the moment. But look at how many enemies there actually are right here. This is actually pretty fun. Look at that. That's pretty crazy. I actually really love the that pet actually only increased my damage over time by 3. Personally, I don't really like that. I think that pet needs to be buffed. But that's just me, you know, it's just a favorite of mine, so maybe that's the reason that I'm saying that. But whatever the case, it's fine, you know, it's fine the way it is. Maybe damage over time was just way too powerful in the previous patch as well, because I don't know, I felt like I was doing some pretty nice damage with it. But yeah, as I say, I feel like the game has improved in leaps and bounds from this particular patch. As you can see, I'm having to do a little bit of bullet hell dodging right here. Gotta say, that is really hard. That was really hard to actually avoid all those guys. That was crazy. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna continue increasing our orbital fire here, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about, by the way, with all the abilities that the opponent has. They have so many new abilities now. So these skulls will fire these little energy bursts. And then you have the grave digging kind of enemies. They will attack you with tombstones and stuff like that. So they will appear underneath your character, and then you're going to have to, you know, avoid them and so on and so forth. So it's really cool how they have added a new level of dynamicism to the game as well, because obviously it makes it so that you have to avoid these things. I'm actually going to be in a bit of a spot of bother here. I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to do this. Oh no. There we go. Okay. This is fantastic. Look at this. Look at this. That dot damage is now increased by 7. So you see, now this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you upgrade your pets, and if you find these cages where you can actually upgrade your pets, you are going to have so much better value for money. I mean, technically they're free in general, but if you buy a pet, for example, from here, from the shop, then it's going to be really good. I'm actually going to take magnet range. Should I take magnet range? Usually I would take magnet range every day of the week, and I think I will probably just take that. That's the safe bet, because then I'm going to be able to level up just that much faster, and it's going to be so good. Let's increase my Grand Hex's damage a little bit more, and let's just continue to move on over here. There we go. And wow, this is so much damage. This is so much damage. Wow, so many enemies. I gotta say, I'm actually really pleased that they seem to have increased the enemy density. I'm actually not entirely sure about that either, but the amount of changes that they have made have been sweeping. And as I was saying before, I think that this has just improved the game in every single way. I am no longer having issues with the hitbox either, by the way. So if that was your main bone of contention, like I generally felt like the hitboxes were a little bit too large for the enemies, you know, in comparison to their models. But I'm obviously not entirely sure if they even changed those. I think they did, because it feels a lot a lot tighter. It feels like I can walk by one of these enemies and them not actually hit me, even though, you know, generally beforehand they probably would have. Look at the amount of bosses I just killed right there. I literally just killed 4 bosses in what, 2 seconds, just because of my bone shot. I think you know, personally, and I don't want to say this because I don't really want to get, you know, all of this stuff changed or whatever, but I feel very strong right now. I feel very strong. I mean, you can see that right here, that I'm cleaving through all of these enemies really, really fast. Do bear in mind, however, this is the first challenge level. This is basically playing on normal. All right, this is basically playing on normal, because obviously this is the first skull on this map. So if we were to play on the second skull of this map, which we will unlock after we complete this, if we are able to even complete this, I mean, I can hope that I will be able to, but yeah, so if we do that, then obviously the second challenge level is going to be much, much harder, because the enemies are going to move faster, you're going to potentially move slower, it really very much depends. And here we go, here's the boss. Alright, here we are. So now, where is he coming from? Oh, he's coming from over there. That's pretty bad, actually. That is pretty bad. Okay, he's going to die really, really fast, by the way, so yeah, just watch his health. It's just absolutely amazing how much damage we can even deal. And there we go, he's out of there. And HUGO against the boss, I think, is very strong. Because imagine this, he gets hit once, he goes invisible, and he has a decoy, and then the boss attacks his decoy, and all this time HUGO is continuing to deal damage, and damage, and damage, and damage. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. So yeah, there you go. Alright, so now we're gonna go over to the Divinity web. Alright, so here we go. Here is the Divinity web, and you can see here you can actually transfer 300 shards to these, what are they called again? Can I find this? Oh, it doesn't actually say what they are. Okay, I have no idea what they are, but these things, whatever these things are. And then you can also transfer 30 crystals over to that currency as well. And you can see here, I've unlocked pretty much everything apart from this. I haven't defeated the mini-boss, the 3-per yet, because I assume you're going to have to play on the Cemetery Challenge Level 2. You can see here, unlocks the Cemetery map, hard mode, boom, there you go, that is done, fantastic. So that means that I can now play on that map, and I can assume that that is probably where I'm going to be facing the 3-per. And there's also hardcore mode, I unlocked that already. There's also this over here, you need to destroy more axe vipers. Axe vipers are present in Viper Village, of course, as you might expect. And then you have a bunch of other things over here that you can acquire. There's HUGO there too. He's pretty easy to unlock, no problem there. You also have some more sand slimes here, and then that goes over into the other area. Oh, this is fantastic. Look at that. Orbital fire banner speed upgrades increased by 10%. Yes, thank you very much. That is exactly what I want to get. And there are a bunch of other upgrades that I still haven't gotten because I just haven't fulfilled the amount of kills. Oh, look at this. Ah, look, there's actually something else there that I can get. Great. Okay. So yeah, that's basically my Divinity web. I have pretty much everything unlocked with the exception of some of these very far off nodes. I also don't have whatever this is over here past the critical hit chance, and I'm going to need to kill more sand slimes to be able to unlock that. And then apart from that, we also haven't unlocked the cleave upgrades over here. But yeah, apart from that, the Divinity web is looking really nice. I like the way that they have revamped it, because it feels to me like everything is a lot less expensive and a lot less difficult to unlock. So yeah. Anyway, we are now going to try and see. I'm going to play as Vivian this time because I actually just prefer her in general. I really like her orbital fire ability for the 25% greater chance of dropping blue souls, which is basically experience. And she also has Soul Magnet as a thing as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to play... should we play in Viper Village? Oh no, God, I don't really want to play in the Cemetery again. So you know what, let's play on Spine Dunes on the second challenge level. I don't think I've done this before, but as you can see, monster HP has been increased by 100%. Monster HP increases 10% every single minute. So at the end, at 14 minutes, it's going to be 140% increased monster HP. and monsters move 10% faster, and blue souls are worth 10% more experience. So let's do it. I think I'm going to need to actually be here anyway to unlock some of the additional... Oh, there's a pet cage already. Wow, that's actually fantastic. So yeah, this is going to be, I think, quite difficult. So I'm actually looking forward to playing this because I don't think I've done this before. So this is going to be you seeing this for the first time that I've done this. Oh, wow. All right, this is a good run. This is a good start. Increase magnet range by 25%. Vivian already has a passive that increases her magnet range. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, bone shot. Oh yes, getting even luckier right here and right now. That's great. Right here, right now. I didn't mean to say that, I know. All right, can we kill that? Yeah, thank you. All right, yeah, let me just try to be a little bit careful here. Okay, so I don't know whether I want Grand Hex or whether I want the frozen thing. I'm thinking the frozen thing will probably be better, so I'm just going to go for the orbital fire increase for the moment. Let's go for orbital fire increase again. I want to try and just buff orbital fire as much as I possibly can. Maybe we actually want to go for a full orbital fire build. Usually I don't do that nowadays because it just doesn't seem worth doing that. You know, with the change to the damage over time. But maybe it's actually useful. Maybe it's actually useful. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of cool to do that. I don't want Grand Hex. Let's do dot damage increase. Let's see how the dot damage increase actually goes. Let's do a little bit of testing, shall we? Let's just try things out and see how it goes. Maybe it's going to be amazing, or maybe it's going to be absolutely awful. Who knows? Either way. Let's decrease the cooldown for Bone Shot. As I say, I already have a bunch of cooldown decreases for it on the Divinity Web, so when I get it to 0.2, it is just firing super fast. Oh, it seems like I will not be able to get that. Okay, I could re-roll, but I don't really want to spend 100 gold to re-roll this. I could have taken Ice Ring on the previous page, but I actually didn't want to do that. So I'm gonna take, what does Ice Ring actually do? It's more of a CC sort of effect. I could take Tangle Vines, or I could take Magic Mine. Magic Mine might be quite fun, but I don't really care about it that much. Let's just do Magic Mine and see how that works. Maybe it's cool. It seems to do quite good damage. I don't know. I'm not gonna sacrifice leveling up Orbital Fire to do that though, that's for sure. I'm just gonna leave. Wow, Orbital Mine actually seems pretty cool now. Okay, I haven't used it in a long time, by the way, so this is actually maybe kind of secret OP. Who knows? Because it's one of those times where Magic Mine, it just didn't do very well the first time I used it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to use that anymore. Thank you very much. So yeah, seems like this might actually be really good now that it literally has such a low cooldown. Maybe it's good, you know, maybe it's really good, and maybe I need to actually start taking it more often. Okay, let's decrease its cooldown even further. I'm actually just going to try and see what we can do with it. Maybe it's going to be super good. Yeah, I do bear in mind that I can't avoid the cooldown on Bone Shot. I always need to level up Bone Shot a significant amount to be able to kill the boss at the end. Bear in mind, the boss that we just killed in the cemetery, that literally had... Oh, there's another cage right here. Oh my. Okay, we've got super lucky right here. There's 2 shops, but not enough crates for me to get gold from. I'm actually kind of frustrated because we just don't have enough resources. Okay, well, whatever the case, you've got to bear in mind that in the previous run that we had, we were playing on the first challenge level. This is the second challenge level, and I can't even imagine what the boss is going to be like. I don't know how powerful the boss is going to be, so this is going to be interesting. Let's just get all of this from here. Thank you very much. Let's go in here, see what we can get. Should we get something good? Damage increase, damage mitigation increase. I'm going to go for the damage increase and the damage mitigation. Yeah, I guess I'll get the damage mitigation, and then we just need to remember where this particular... remember where the other shop is, because then we can come back here at a later time. Let's increase our attack size even further so we can do even more damage with Orbital Fire. Let's get more critical chance. I do need to increase my range on Bone Shot as well, because range is extremely important against the boss. It will hit you very quickly if you don't have a good enough amount of range from it. Let's increase the range now a little bit too. I don't have any money, so obviously I'm not going to be going into the other store. Here is a mini boss. You can see here it just absolutely gets just evaporated by bone shot. It's really, really nice. Let's increase our cooldown on the mines once again. It does 97 damage. It's pretty good, and seems to, I don't know, it seems to act as a bit of a deterrent, I guess. It's kind of good in that respect, possibly. But yeah, well, whatever the case, we'll see whether that was the right option. But in general, I actually feel like mine seems to be pretty fun nowadays, which is kind of weird. I'm still going to be going for orbital fire in that case, though. Orbital fire speed is just so good. It's basically like increasing its attack speed generally, because you're going to be able to attack the same enemy over and over again really fast. But of course, I'm not doing that much damage with orbital fire in general, unless I can maybe get... Oh wow, this is pretty bad. Yeah, so leveling up with the Nomicon actually causes 250 damage to near enemies, so that's pretty good, especially with Vivian, but it's still not something that I would really want to take. I'm going to take Slather instead, because 10 additional damage is probably pretty good for me. I hope it's actually going to get applied. It doesn't seem like it's actually applying to my orbital fire attack. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure why that is, but whatever the case, we're just going to continue getting as much gold as possible. We've got another chest over here too. Let's increase my speed once more. Maybe I'm concentrating way too much on orbital fire now. I'm a bit worried now about that. Let's try increasing bone shot a bit. Now here's the cool thing about Vivian, obviously, because she doesn't have to worry about like HUGO. She doesn't have to worry about having a limited health pool, so she can basically just do whatever she wants. She can run through enemies as long as they're not too strong, and obviously bone shot has the added benefit of being able to stun your opponents. So that's actually pretty amazing in itself. But look at this, I can literally just run through these guys, because I do have Chi-Con, which is basically a play on words, because it's basically like Conrad. It's dressed like Conrad, and Conrad is the beefy hero type who doesn't take a huge amount of damage from attacks and things like that. So yeah, that actually obviously makes a pretty big difference, because that provides me with damage mitigation. Yes, it's very good. Let's go for decrease on the mines. Let's just continue to gain increases on this. Wow. As I say, I have not done one of these intermediate levels since the update. I've just been unlocking the new maps, basically, any single time I had the opportunity to do so. So this is going to be very interesting. I don't know whether I'm even going to be able to get to the 5th minute at this rate. It seems like I'm being absolutely swarmed by a lot of enemies right now. Let's increase my speed once more. Whoa, this is super fast. This is literally the fastest I've seen orbital fire get, actually. That's really strong. Obviously, it doesn't do that much damage, but if you got to think about the fact that maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to acquire the damage over time pet. I would love to be able to get the damage over time pet. If I can get that, I will be so overjoyed. It would be such an amazing thing for us to get, because that's going to give me... Well, it gives me 3 initially, and then it can hopefully give me a bit more than that once we find the upgrade for it, if I'm lucky enough to get the upgrade for it, that is. Bear in mind, these sand monsters, they will split into little bats after they die, and thankfully I'm playing around in my own little minefield right here, so this is obviously going to be super easy for us to defend against. There we go, that's the right thing to say. Thank you. Oh, yes, very good. But yeah, we're probably going to go back to the shop in just a second, if I can remember where it is, because it's over here, I assume, somewhere. And it's going to be really good to do that, obviously. It's going to be really good to do that, because then we will have the opportunity to maybe get lucky and buy one of the other pets that I was talking about before. And oh, there's actually a chest here too. Wow, okay, that's really nice that a chest appeared here, because this is obviously going to give me some more cash. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. The one thing I'd like to see actually in the store is the ability to upgrade your pets. The ability to upgrade your pets in the store would be fantastic, because at the moment it doesn't do that. At the moment it is just allowing you to gain new pets. It doesn't give you the ability to upgrade them. So that's obviously a bit of a bit of an issue there. Yeah, so there's just a coin value increase, which, don't really care about that too much. And we've also got Scoop here. I'm going to take Scoop just because he's pretty good to take. And otherwise, there we have it. Okay, let's have a look here. What else do we want to go for? I'm going to go for range on Bone Shot. That's going to be way too useful to give up, I think. I need to at least 26 range on Bone Shot to be able to hit a fair distance away. So that's usually what I try to go for. And I try to go for something around 40% critical chance with Bone Shot. If you can get more than that, then that's perfect. Just go for as much critical chance as you can get with it. It really does all the damage you're going to need at the boss. And I'm going to try and get more of that right here. There we go. And my mines are actually doing a pretty fantastic job of defeating any chasers as well, because we do have a bunch of enemies coming after me right here, and obviously they're just going to get absolutely obliterated by our mines. So I'm happy with that too. We should probably try to increase the damage of our mines a little bit here and there. We got some more crystals. Oh, look at this. More crates. And we do need to actually slay a bunch of these fly swarms as well, because the fly swarms are they are a prerequisite for something else, as far as I remember, that I do need to upgrade on the Divinity web. I think I'm actually not entirely sure whether I've already done that, because with the update, obviously everything on the Divinity web is a lot easier to get, or it's a lot more streamlined. So I might not need as many kills of those things that I think of right now. But who knows? Who knows? It doesn't really matter right now. But you know, it's good to just take note of these things just in case, because then I can prioritize what I'm trying to kill. If I can prioritize at all, let's face it, I'm just killing everything that I can pretty much. Let's just try and increase our dot damage a little bit more, considering orbital fire is literally a laser beam. Well, technically it's not a, well, it's a circular laser beam right now. It's kind of going really fast. So it's going to hit most enemies with the damage over time effect. So the more damage I can deal with the damage over time, the better, right? That's usually how I think of things. Oh, nice. Another shop. Okay, that's perfect. Do I have enough? Yes, I have enough space. Okay, perfect. I literally have enough space for another pet. So we might be able to get the damage over time pet. I would be very pleased with that. There we go. I easily have enough money, so I don't really need to worry about that. I was actually hoping that I would find, on my travels at least, a little bit of a pet cage. It would be wonderful if I could find one more of those, because then we could upgrade our pets even further. That would be so nice. Let's increase my bone shot damage even more. I think I'm 7 minutes away from fighting the final boss. I'm very much hoping I will have enough damage by that point with bone shot to be able to eliminate the boss, because obviously orbital fire is not really a boss killing thing. It's more of a case of it just kills everything else. So that's obviously going to be a bit of a problem potentially. Oh, Hearty is fantastic. I'm gonna have to go for Hearty, I think, and we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that we don't get the damage over time increase. That's really sad, actually, but maybe we can get the pet cage, because the pet cage is, as I say, the only way we can actually upgrade our pets. So it would be nice if we could maybe come across one of those, but it seems like I'm not having much luck in that regard for some reason. But oh well, never mind. We defeated a mini boss here, apparently. There we go. Got some more of these things. Alright, so I'm gonna try and just explore a little bit around here. Obviously, at this point, it's more of a case of, do you sacrifice experience gain for exploration? Those are kinds of the decisions that you will have to make in these kinds of runs. Obviously, we're not playing on a super high... I mean, this is technically a pretty high difficulty, so do bear that in mind. You know, it is a pretty high difficulty, but obviously because of the amount that I have unlocked in the Divinity web, it is not as dangerous as it possibly could be if you come here earlier on. Obviously, this is you know, a pretty I think this is a pretty early map, but obviously on intermediate it might be a bit difficult for someone that hasn't unlocked as much as I have. So very much depends on the Divinity web progression, how easy something is going to be. But that's the point. When I say, oh yeah, you know, you might want to be a bit careful, not you specifically, but just generally people might want to be careful about exploring too much, because if you explore too much, you're not going to gain as much power, because then you're not going to have experience flowing towards your character almost all the time, and you're going to instead be looking around, and you're going to be finding crates full of money. And obviously at this point, I don't need money. I don't need money anymore, because I have full pet slots. I don't have any need for any more pets. So you know, I just need to find the pet cages, and those are the things that are really going to make the biggest difference to me. As I say, the rank 2 of every single pet is really strong, so I'd love to be able to find one of those, but it seems like I'm not able to for some reason. I don't know why. Oh well, never mind. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to stick around here for a little bit, and you can see here they're trying to take me out with these little enclosures of whirlwinds and things, and you also have environmental effects as well that can attack you, so there's also that. But I have Scoop and Hearty and Cheekon, and all of those are to do with survival. I mean, generally Scoop can give you hearts, but he can give you anything, basically. He can give you experience, he can give you crystals, he can give you whatever. But obviously Hearty and Cheekon, they're all about survival. So those 3 pets can really just do a huge amount for you. And you can see here, look at how easy that mini boss just evaporated, because we just have so much damage with Bone Shot right now. I'm actually wondering whether we can even get more Bone Shot. No, I don't think we can get more Bone Shot, actually, amusingly enough. So it seems like that will probably be it for the moment. I'm just going to increase my damage over time a little bit further, and yeah, I think I don't know, I might have made a mistake with the amount of critical chance that I went for with Bone Shot, because I think the maximum level you can get with each weapon is 25. I think that is the case. So I went with 5 CDR, 5 range, and 5 critical chance. I mean, CDR, obviously, you want to get that as soon as possible, because that is just generally making it usable. But the critical chance, I really wanted to get more of that. So I might have made a slight error in not focusing on that a bit more. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Maybe that is indeed the maximum, and I'm just, you know, I'm just punishing myself for no reason whatsoever. You know, maybe that's what's going on there. I'm gonna actually go into the shop in just a second, and we're gonna see if, yeah, we got some. Well, I might as well spend some money and just buy some of these shards, I guess. Don't really need the shards. I have a lot of those, so that's not particularly useful, but oh well, never mind. Okay, let's just increase our magic mine damage. We got some sand castles. This guy is actually creating some sand castles right here, and let's just eliminate him. There we go. He's out of there. And I don't need any more of these people's kills either. The blade witches, I think they're called, or something like that. So yeah, they're actually, I gotta say, I actually really like the enemy designs. I think the enemy designs for the game are super nice. I think they are all very unique and cool looking. And generally, the addition of all of these enemies having abilities now, and actually giving you different things to avoid in high pressure situations. And I mean, you saw the cemetery round, right? You saw the cemetery round with all those guys literally shooting these green energy bursts at me, and I was having to avoid all of those, and it was actually really fun. You know, it was really fun while there were waves of skeletons attempting to come at me, and obviously I was just able to fight them off. But it's such a satisfying feeling being able to do that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's obviously a big deal, you know, actually increasing the satisfaction of the player rather than decreasing it by making it so that these things are undodgeable or just really frustrating to fight against or anything like that. That's not the case. I think, as I say, they have done a great job with this content update. And I would definitely say, if you are interested at all in this game, you should definitely check it out through the link in the description. This is not sponsored, by the way. This video is not sponsored in any way. This is just one of those games that I've been playing in my spare time. and the new update came out, and I was like, okay, I'll make a video on this, and I'll see, you know, see if anyone else wants to give it a go at this point, because as I say, they have increased the fluidity, shall we say, of the progression system, and they've generally made it just that much easier for anyone to get invested in the Divinity web, just to basically make it so much easier for the progression to get started, because before it was a pretty slow start and you had to grind a pretty large amount, but nowadays maybe that's been helped quite a bit. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's literally, I think it's like what, $5 or something like that. I don't know. It's very, very cheap, and it's a whale of a time. As I say, I literally have been I've been playing this for many hours. Anytime I get an opportunity to do so, if there's a spare moment, I'll just be like, okay, I'm just gonna have a small run here and there, you know, and it's just great, you know. And the content update has made it even better and even more fun. And I actually cannot wait for the next one, because I've pretty much done all of the things that were included in this content update already, because as I say, I like it a lot. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you'll give it a go, and maybe if you bought it originally and you were disappointed because the progression system was so slow or something like that, well, don't worry, they've done some great work with it, and they have made it a lot better. So anyway, this is where the boss is going to now attack me in 3 seconds, and we're going to see how we do against it. I have no idea what it's going to be. It's one of these. Okay. Okay, this might be... This is 50... Okay, 50,000. Okay, it's got an AoE damage aura as well, by the way. Remember those abilities I was talking about? It's got an AoE damage aura. Really don't want to get killed by that. Thank you very much. I am actually getting killed by it. Okay, Hearty, I'm actually going to need you to give me hearts right now. I will really need you to give me hearts. I'm going to draw him over here, actually, because I want him to get killed by my bones. Yes. I'm just going to try and pull him into the corners, basically, so that then I can move upwards and then just attack him with bone shot. That's pretty much the way I'm going to defeat him right here. There you go. Done. Whew, okay, that was actually pretty intense. That was pretty intense, gotta say that. And I like the fact that the cage doesn't, you know, kill me. Yes, because if it continued to enclose the player, it would be very difficult. All right, so there you go. That is Spirit Hunters and their new update. And yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out through the link in the description. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.